And it's rolling. All right, get that microphone. This is a very exciting vinyl happy hour. I know I probably say that a lot, but this week there's 3 indie store exclusive records that I really want to cover somewhat quickly, but there's a lot to them, so I'm going to jump right into it. Then there is an album we've been waiting for a year that is finally out, and then a great jazz piece. Every week for Vinyl Happy Hour, I like to talk about kind of my top 5 picks for the week and new releases and what's special and what's interesting going on in the vinyl record world. So that's what Vinyl Happy Hour is. I usually have a drink and get with you. So hopefully you've been watching. This is our 5th season of doing this. So for 5 years we've been bringing this out and kind of just keeping you up to date because there's so many great releases coming out. We don't want you to miss out on a few of the key ones especially. So let's jump into it. If you haven't seen Vinyl Happy Hour before, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this a like. Of course, Culture Shock Records and CultureShockShop.com is where to find the records we're talking about. I'm Skylar Davis, owner of the store, longtime record collector for many, many years, and it's just exciting to see how vinyl, now that I'm 40 years old, is still so exciting, almost 30 years into me being into records. So this first one, though, the new Coheed and Cambria, Window of the Waking Mind. It is a great, epic album. Of course, the music is great, but the packaging, the way they did this triple gatefold, oh my god, just so nice and nicely packaged too. But the gatefold, triple gatefold, let's say, has this crazy epic adventure on the front and then kind of a space odyssey going on in the inside. So this is a big old concept album of sorts, which I'm all about. The music is great, of course, too. What's even more special, though, is it's an indie store exclusive. This is transparent sea blue vinyl. So they're calling this Vaxis 2, a window of the waking mind. There's definitely a lot of more emo rock and, those types of indie rock overtones to it, but with kind of this proggy, enigmatic feeling to it. Even nice printed inner sleeves for each of the records. It's a long, epic album, a double LP. But this is an indie store exclusive, meaning it's only available to independently owned record stores. So that's really cool when an album or when a band does that. You've got the lyrics on the B-side of the inner sleeves. Nice, thick inner sleeves, too. Just a really great album. It's so cool. They've actually kept this back from streaming, too. So the vinyl is actually dropping this week along with the streaming of it. But it's definitely worth checking out and definitely worth getting this indie store exclusive version of it. So the link to that is actually below here in the video. If you go to CultureShockShop.com, there's a click link over to the staff picks to find that out. There's another super epically packaged indie store exclusive this week out, but I'm going to break it up with this other one. That's also a really great album, but with slightly less wild packaging. This is the new Soccer Mommy, Sometimes Forever. And this is an indie store exclusive, kind of pink and black splattered vinyl. Nice thick inner sleeve as well. Just a regular LP jacket, nothing gatefoldy about it. Through the Loma Vista label. This is kind of, you can see that black and pink splatter. So Soccer Mommy, she lies into definitely more in that territory of like the just good, somewhat folky indie rocker in a way, but like the Phoebe Bridgers and the Snail Mails and stuff like that. Just kind of this dreamy, lush indie rock. This album surprised me though. I'm feeling like there's a lot more 90s throwbacks and shoegazy things. Also not streaming yet, so cool to see, even though there's a huge delay on vinyl records coming out, some artists are doing true releases where the streaming and the CDs and records all drop at the same time. Of course, live music is a great way to go. I'm sure a lot of these artists are on tour right now too. But anyway, back to the Soccer Mommy album. I could definitely, for some reason I keep picking up these like dreamy 90s vibes. Of course, besides some of the modern artists, I could even feel like the things that I like about like some Cranberries. And I swear there's a couple songs that get almost like trip-hoppy or something, like a Portishead feel or something like that. So definitely worth checking this out. I mean, gosh, my range goes all over. I mean, I'm not just schlocking this stuff because I'm trying to sell everything. I'm a fan of this music too, and there's a lot of variety to these songs and to some of these artists. Of course, the packaging and the records and the collectability of it is another big thing that keeps us into vinyl and keeps it interesting. But I just love the music, so I mean, gosh, I could even hear a couple like Taylor Swifty vibes or something in here. But definitely just great, great album. Not super long, which is great. Just right to it. So cool album from Soccer Mommy and Indie Store exclusive. Those are often limited, so I do suggest snapping those up when they come out because sometimes they do go out right away. So here's an album though that I've been very excited about. This one, opposite of the others, has started streaming like last year, and pre-orders and stuff went up for it last year. There were some major delays. This was actually supposed to be out back at like Christmas, 21, I think. This is the new Converge, Bloodmoon 1. But you've got to see this packaging. It's unreal. This is the Death Wish Indie Store exclusive. If you think you know Converge, well, I should have had it all together here for you guys. Because there's like this slip cover that goes over the jacket to kind of showcase the art. Oh, just such cool. Here, I'll just do that. So this slips inside of there, and then the actual gatefold slips out, and there's this die-cut moon gatefold with the track listing on the back. So cool. The packaging, of course. Nice, heavy-duty, thick gatefold. It's black on the inside. It's like a thicker die-cut cardboard. This is a very interesting Converge album, though. They're still doing a lot of their post-rock and kind of hardcore and stuff like that. But there's an addition. There's Chelsea Wolfe doing vocals, who is, an independent artist also. Look at this vinyl, though. This is super cool. Look at that splash of purple or blood moon inside of the vinyl. This is an Indie Store exclusive. But the music on this, it is brooding and dooming and stuff like that, but it adds this kind of magical, kind of softer element sometimes with Chelsea Wolfe doing her kind of haunting vocals, and sometimes it's just kind of more beautiful vocals even. And then when the dual vocals, whenever there's the regular Converge, kind of the screaming and growling going on, it just adds this like really epic layer. And it's a slower album too. I mean, this isn't like hardcore, like fast, like East Coast hardcore. A lot of it's a little sludgier and slower. So it's been years since there's been a Converge album though, and I wasn't even sure if they were even still together, going to keep doing things. Of course, they've been around for, probably over 20 years doing stuff on the Death Wish label, which they've helped found. Double LP though, so there are some kind of longer, epic, doomy tracks, stuff like that. But this came out like almost a year ago, it seems like, or the end of last year. So the vinyl is finally out. Let's show off the poster though. It's got the same artwork that's on the front of the album cover, but it is a full, like a 24 by 24 poster, double-sided even. So hopefully you can see the artwork here. I'm going to try to hold this up. I need an assistant for this stuff. And then there's a snake wrapped around the hand on the B side. You got the snake wrapped around the moon on this side. But that is the Converge Bloodmoon 1. I don't know the story behind the album title or if there's going to be more or continuation of this. But very cool to see the guys kind of work with and add Chelsea Wolfe to the mix. Just gives it a whole new element. Definitely in love with the album. Even though it's been out and streamed for a while, like owning it, feeling it, playing it, hearing it, it makes it that more special for some reason. You know how it is if you're a record geek. It's just all about that. So what's really cool is this was an epic week for Indie Store exclusives between the Soccer Mommy, the Converge. There's some other stuff too, and there's some reissues of older things that are Indie Store exclusives. And then, of course, the Coheed Cambria. So that is a really overwhelming amount of stuff to come out and have such great releases all in one week. Again, there's a lot of other releases. I'm just highlighting just a couple. There's not a lot to show off in the packaging for this, but this is Tyler, the Creator. Call Me If You Get Lost. It's definitely been in the making for quite a while to hear something from Tyler, the Creator. This also, believe it or not, that's right, because this is a release for this week. This is, what is this, June 24th? I don't even know the date right now. But anyway, so this actually started streaming like June 25th or 24th of last year, 2021. So the vinyl delay and stuff has even caught someone as big as Tyler, the Creator. This record has taken so long to get released. So a full year of streaming and promoting and pre-ordering, and it's finally here. And it is a bomber of an album too. I love Tyler, the Creator. He's just, ever since the Odd Future years and stuff, just doing some kind of this weird oddball hip hop. But he's progressed in so many other ways. There's so many cool samples, so many cool funky R&B parts. There's a little part of the story to this. Some of it could probably be a continuation from the Igor album, let's say. But maybe that didn't gel with that album and we're kind of put on this separate album instead. But he kind of takes you all over the place. There's definitely a couple funny parts, but there's just some bangers, some busted out bass hip hop stuff too, where the bass is just like bombed out and like distorted and stuff like that. So he's really playing around with a lot of different elements. I think he produced the whole album too. And there's some cool features from some other rappers on there with him too. But it is not a rap album for sure. There's a lot of hip hop pieces on here. But the funky R&B and even some jazz. There's some parts with some horns and stuff like that too. This is a cool trip, and definitely Tyler the Creator keeps bringing it. Definitely love everything he's done, so definitely worth checking this out. Oh, what's in here? Oh, there's a little insert. I didn't think there was anything in there. So there's a cutout with looks like some of the lyrics and stuff like that. Another photo of Tyler the Creator on there. But otherwise, yeah, it's just a nice thick gatefold packaging, double LP on black vinyl. Just a great release, great music. Not everything has to be crazy color vinyl with posters and stuff like that. So those are all fresh new releases, and then this is a new release too, but it's a reissue of a really great Blue Note piece. This is Blues Walk from Lou Donaldson. Again, these 50s Blue Note pieces and 60s Blue Note pieces are impossible, I swear, to find in mint condition or in any condition in the wild. These records must have been sought after and played so hard, or in someone's collection, you can't get your hands on them. So it's really cool to see Blue Note is doing these Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series releases. And these are also not a digital version. They're not like some of these other kind of cheaper reissues. This is actually cut from the original Blue Note tapes, the tapes that Rudy Van Gelder, whoever recorded for Blue Note in the 50s and 60s. So it's completely analog, all from the original masters, and it is cut to sound sharp. Oh my God, I was listening to what was I listening to? Soccer Mommy. I listened to this album next, and this just came out louder than that album. This was so loud and so crisp out of the package. So if you're a jazz fan, this one's an easy one to get into. Even if you're not a jazz fan, Lou Donaldson was another, he's right up there. Some of the greatest sax players of all time, but with keeping it kind of smooth, nothing usually too far out or too wild. If you want to get into something that's just a zazz and happening jazz album, this is a good one. There's some players on here that I don't recognize. They're from some of the older jazz, but Ray Barretto is actually playing conga on it. So this is a fast jazz album, even though it's kind of the traditional hard bop. It is played very fast, so it's got a very cool kind of dancing club vibe to it for that early jazz. And this is through that era where people kind of had a fascination with like tropical and Latin jazz and Spanish flavored stuff was really becoming a thing. But this does not cheese out like a lot of that other dated jazz, for sure. This is a very sweet piece. Great to have it, and they put them in these poly-lined inner sleeves. Like, you don't have to brush a piece of dust off or anything. You open this up and put it on, and it is just sharp and sounding great. So all of these Blue Note pieces, there's two different series. The classics are releasing kind of more of their classic pieces, their better pieces, their essential pieces, and they're just doing these regular single jackets, and stuff like that. Nice thick vinyl though. Then there's the Blue Note Tone Poet series, which are the big, heavy, thick gatefolds with extra photos inside. Every week I'm pleased. I mean, I'm sure you hear about some things out there on the internet or from other people about how, there's problems or whatever with records or shipping, I don't know what, but I find them to be excellent. It's such a great experience to open up a record and listen to it, check out what's inside and listen to it. And of course, we appreciate you supporting independent record stores. We just kind of survived that Record Store Day Drop 2 or whatever that happened in June. So thank you so much to anyone who ordered records through our website, and if you couldn't make it into the store for our 16-year anniversary and for Record Store Day. We appreciate all the support. It's really great to see more people finding us online through our social media and YouTube, and kind of expanding our circle a little bit here out of Rockford, Illinois. So we just really appreciate it. But I hope you like what you're hearing. Of course, check our social media posts, usually on our Instagram and Facebook. We'll put a post up of more of the new records coming out, and that's all that we have on our website is brand new records and new releases. You can even pre-order upcoming releases. Of course, if you're local or traveling through Rockford, Illinois, stop in to check out Culture Shock, because we have thousands and thousands of used records also, plus lots of other gifts and clothing and locally made items. So we just can't wait to meet you here. Otherwise, if you're buying online, we'll safely pack this up and ship it out for you next day. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Cheers.